She called the police on us just because we refused to join her HOA. 2 squad cars pulled up in our driveway in less than 10 minutes. But the moment my wife handed over her ID, the officer's face completely changed. Everything shifted instantly. By the end of this story, the same woman who tried to destroy our lives was standing on her own lawn, shaking and begging us not to file a report. If you've ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA president who acts like she owns the entire neighborhood, keep listening, because what happens next is unbelievably satisfying. When my wife and I bought our house, we made sure of one very important thing. It was not part of any mandatory homeowners association. We checked the deed. We verified county records. We even called the title company twice, just to be absolutely certain. We had heard too many horror stories. People getting fined over mailbox colors, cited for grass height, or dragged into disputes over fence sizes. We wanted no part of that. So when a woman named Karen, yes, that was actually her name, showed up at our door 3 weeks after we moved in, holding a clipboard and a binder thick enough to stop a bullet, we should have known trouble was coming. She introduced herself as the president of the Maple Ridge Community Association and confidently informed us that regardless of what our deed said, every home on the street was expected to join. She used the word expected for separate times in less than 2 minutes. We politely explained that our property wasn't legally tied to any HOA, thanked her for stopping by, and closed the door. At the time, we thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Over the next month, Karen kept pushing. She left flyers on our porch. She mailed us a certified letter referencing community standards that didn't apply to us. She even stuck a note on our trash cans because we had placed them at the curb too early. Then one Saturday morning, my wife was outside watering the flower beds when Karen stormed over. She claimed we were violating association landscaping rules and demanded we pay a $250 non-member compliance fee. My wife, calm as ever, told her plainly that we were not members and didn't know anything. Karen's response? She pulled out her phone and called the police right in front of us, loudly claiming that we were trespassing on community-governed land and refusing lawful orders from the HOA board. Less than 10 minutes later, 2 patrol cars arrived. Karen stood at the edge of our driveway with her arms crossed, practically glowing with satisfaction, clearly expecting to see us dragged away in front of the entire neighborhood. The first officer walked up and asked for our identification. I handed over my driver's license. My wife reached into her bag and handed over hers, but it wasn't a standard ID. It was her federal credentials. My wife works as a federal investigator. Her ID wasn't just a name and photo. It included a badge number, an agency seal, and a direct verification line that gets answered immediately. The officer looked down at it, then back at her. His entire posture shifted. He straightened up, lowered his voice, and said, "Ma'am, I apologize." I didn't realize. My wife simply nodded and replied calmly, "It's all right, officer. I understand you're doing your job, but I would like to clarify what's actually happening here, because there's no trespassing occurring on my own property." I'll never forget Karen's face in that moment. All that confidence vanished instantly. Her smug expression drained away, replaced by panic. She went pale, then flushed red, stumbling over her words as she tried to bring up association bylaws. Meanwhile, the second officer quietly pulled her aside and began explaining, loud enough for half the neighborhood, who had gathered outside by now, that our property was not part of any legally enforceable HOA. There was no compliance fee, and filing a false trespassing report was something he was required to document. The officers ran her information and even verified our deed on the spot using the county database in their patrol car. Then they told Karen she could potentially face consequences for filing a false police report. Just minutes earlier, she had been threatening us with fines and liens. Now she was the one pleading. "I didn't know," she kept saying. "I didn't realize. Please don't make this a big deal." Neighbors who had quietly tolerated her behavior for years stood outside, recording everything on their phones. As it turned out, we weren't the only ones she had targeted. Once word spread about what happened, 3 other families came forward with their own stories. Fines over satellite dishes, threats about paint colors, even an attempted lien on a widow's home because her lawn wasn't maintained while she was in the hospital. Within a month, a group of homeowners filed an official complaint with the county. Karen was removed from her so-called position entirely. It turned out the Maple Ridge Community Association had no legal standing at all. It wasn't a real HOA. It was something Karen had created herself years earlier, convincing enough anxious neighbors to voluntarily pay into it. As for us, we never heard another word about compliance fees, landscaping rules, or non-member dues again. My wife says the most satisfying part wasn't flashing her badge. It was watching someone who built her entire identity around controlling other people's homes realize, in real time, that she had absolutely no power at all. If you've ever had a neighbor try to enforce rules that don't exist, then you already know how satisfying this feels. And if you're dealing with your own HOA nightmare, just know you're not alone.